All right, so today we're going to take a deep dive into AI, specifically the life and work of Mustafa Suleyman. And all of our info is coming from AIVIPs.org, which is a great resource. So you're probably listening because you're interested in AI, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
You want to know why this guy is such a big deal?
Yeah.
And we're going to learn all about how he came from a background in philosophy, of all things.
Right. Not the typical, computer science degree.
Exactly. And then went on to co-found DeepMind, the company that built that AI that beat a world champion Go player.
Pretty amazing.
But we'll also get into why he's such a big advocate for ethical AI, even while pushing the boundaries of what AI can achieve. But before we jump into all that, maybe you can give us some background on Suleyman, like why he's such an important figure in the AI world.
Well, what's so interesting about him is that he doesn't really fit the mold of your typical tech leader. He wasn't, coding in his basement as a teenager or anything like that. He was born and raised in London, this really diverse and vibrant city. And then he went on to study philosophy and theology at Cambridge.
Philosophy and theology, huh? Not exactly the usual path to AI.
No, not at all. And I think that background has really shaped his whole approach to technology.
Yeah, I bet all those late-night discussions about the meaning of life and ethics probably had some influence.
Maybe.
But it wasn't just academic stuff. He was actually putting these ideas into practice even before DeepMind.
Oh, absolutely. So before getting into AI, he co-founded this humanitarian aid organization called Islamic Help. And then he also co-founded a consulting firm, Rios Partners, that specialized in resolving these really complex multi-stakeholder conflicts.
Wow, so he was already tackling some pretty big challenges.
Yeah, it seems like he's always been drawn to that.
Okay, so let's talk about DeepMind. This is where things really took off for him.
Yeah, it was a pretty bold move.
They had a really ambitious vision, right?
They wanted to create AI that could learn and adapt like humans do. Not just, narrow AI for very specific tasks, but something more general and flexible. A lot of people in the field were skeptical at the time.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty big goal.
But DeepMind, with Suleyman as one of the leaders, actually delivered on that vision.
Right, and that's where AlphaGo comes in.
Exactly. AlphaGo was the AI that mastered the game of Go.
And Go is that really complex strategy game, right?
Yeah, it's ancient and known for being incredibly difficult for AI to master.
I remember before AlphaGo, most experts thought it would be decades before we saw AI beating a human champion.
It was a huge milestone. It really showed the power of reinforcement learning, which is the technique DeepMind used to train AlphaGo.
Reinforcement learning, so like the AI learns by trial and error.
Exactly. Imagine it playing millions of games against itself, constantly improving its strategy.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. But AlphaGo wasn't their only big accomplishment, was it?
Oh no. DeepMind developed other groundbreaking technologies too, like DeepQ networks.
I've heard of that one.
This one enabled AI to learn directly from raw sensory data, almost like teaching a machine to understand the world through its own senses.
So like how we do.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It led to breakthroughs in robotics and other fields.
And then there's AlphaFold too.
Oh, yes, AlphaFold.
That one's a game changer.
It predicts the 3D structure of proteins, and it does it with such amazing accuracy.
Yeah, that has huge implications for things like drug discovery and understanding diseases. No wonder Google acquired DeepMind.
Right. That happened back in 2014.
And I heard Suleyman played a key role in those negotiations.
Oh, absolutely. He was very involved.
It wasn't just about getting a good price, though, right?
No, he was really determined to make sure that ethical safeguards were built in right from the start. He understood the immense power of the technology they were creating.
Makes sense.
And that foresight led to the creation of DeepMind's Ethics and Safety Board.
Which is basically like saying, hey, we're not just going to build this powerful technology and just let it loose in the world.
Yeah.
We need to think about the risks and guide its development responsibly.
Exactly. That kind of proactive thinking was and still is pretty rare in the tech world.
Yeah, good point. It really shows how committed he is to making sure AI is used to benefit humanity.
Definitely.
And that commitment can be seen in a lot of DeepMind's AI for Good projects.
Wow, that's right.
Things like predicting acute kidney injury in partnership with the UK's National Health Service, or optimizing energy consumption in Google's massive data centers.
It's all about using AI to solve real-world problems.
But Suleyman's influence goes beyond just DeepMind, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. He realized that to really shape the future of AI, you have to get involved in policy. You have to engage with the wider world. So he's worked with the UN, the EU, and the UK government, all to create guidelines and strategies for responsible AI development.
So he's not just building the tech. He's helping shape how we think about it and use it.
Right. He's trying to make sure it's used ethically and responsibly.
That's impressive. Okay, so we've talked about his background, DeepMind's amazing achievements, and his focus on ethical AI. But what's the core philosophy behind all of this? What's the driving force behind his vision for AI?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What's the essence of what he believes in?
Well, at the heart of it all, I think it's this idea of human-centric AI.
Human-centric AI.
Yeah, so it's this belief that technology should empower people. It shouldn't replace them.
I like that.
It's about augmenting human capabilities, not making us obsolete.
Yeah, that's refreshing to hear, especially with all the worries about AI taking over jobs and all that.
Right, but how do we actually make sure that AI stays human-centric?
That's a good question.
It's easy to say, but the reality is it can be a lot more complex.
Yeah, I can see that.
Suleyman really stresses the importance of diversity in AI development. He believes that we need a wider range of perspectives involved, not just engineers and coders, but also ethicists, social scientists, artists, you name it.
It makes sense to get different points of view.
Yeah, it's about making sure AI reflects a broader spectrum of human values and needs.
So it's not just about making sure the technology works, it's about making sure it works for everyone.
Exactly.
But, even with all the good intentions, there have been some controversies surrounding DeepMind, haven't there?
Yeah, there's been some.
Like those concerns about data privacy with that NHS partnership, especially in healthcare. That's a really sensitive issue.
It is. That collaboration, while it was aimed at improving patient care, did raise some legitimate concerns about data privacy and transparency.
Like, were patients fully informed about how their data was being used?
Right, that's the key question.
It's the tough one. Right?
Yeah, it's a classic dilemma.
You have the potential for huge benefits from using AI in healthcare.
Absolutely.
But then there are also risks if that data isn't handled responsibly.
Exactly.
So how do we find that balance?
I think that's where ongoing dialogue and scrutiny are so important. Even with someone as ethically minded as Suleyman, there's always room for improvement and course correction.
Yeah, that makes sense.
These controversies are important. They force us to ask those tough questions and to refine our approach.
It's not about blindly trusting in technology. It's about having these discussions and demanding accountability.
Right. It's about all of us being engaged and informed.
So it's empowering for all of us, really.
Absolutely.
And Suleyman himself acknowledges those potential downsides of AI, right?
He does.
Like algorithmic bias, or the possibility of power becoming too concentrated in the hands of just a few big tech companies.
He's not afraid to talk about the difficult stuff.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. We have this AI pioneer who's incredibly accomplished and at the same time so aware of the ethical challenges. So what's next for him? He's moved on from DeepMind now, right?
He has.
What's he up to these days?
Well, he actually co-founded a new company called Inflection AI, and they're focused on developing personal AI assistants.
Personal AI assistants, huh?
Imagine AI that can really understand you on a deeper level.
Like really get you.
Yeah, understand your needs, your preferences, even your emotions. And then use that understanding to help you navigate daily life more seamlessly.
Interesting.
It's like having a digital confidant, someone who truly gets you.
Okay, that's a pretty cool concept. But I can see some people being a bit hesitant about that. Sharing all that personal information with an AI. Thoughts, feelings, that kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
There were definitely questions about privacy and trust there.
That's where Suleyman's emphasis on ethics really comes into play again. Inflection AI is really committed to building trust by being transparent. They want users to know how their AI works and to have control over their data.
So it's about putting people first, not profits.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see how all the parts of Suleyman's career connect.
Yeah, it's all tied together.
From those early days working on humanitarian aid and conflict resolution, to his time at DeepMind, and now with Inflection AI.
There's a common thread there.
It's all about using technology to solve real problems and make a positive impact on the world.
And always considering the ethical implications.
He's not just building cool gadgets. He's asking those big questions about how we can ensure AI is a force for good.
Right.
And that's a message we need to hear more of, especially now that AI is becoming so prevalent.
He's a voice of reason in a field that's often dominated by hype and this kind of blind optimism about technology. He's reminding us that we have a choice in how we shape the future of AI.
And making that choice starts with being informed, right?
Absolutely.
Understanding both the potential benefits and the risks.
Yep.
Engaging in these critical discussions.
Exactly.
And making sure that AI development is guided by our values.
Mm.
So, knowing what you now know about Mustafa Suleyman, his vision for AI, What role do you think you want to play in shaping its future? What kind of world do you want to create with this powerful technology?
Those are some big questions. Definitely something to think about.
Because the choices we make now
Will have a big impact.
will determine the world we live in tomorrow.
Definitely.
Well, that's a great note to end on. And remember, all of these insights we've discussed today are from AIVIPs.org, a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to learn more about the world of AI. We'll put a link in the show notes so you can check it out.
It's a great place to start your own deep dive into this exciting field.
Okay, so next time, we'll be back too. To delve into some of the specific projects that Suleyman has been involved with, I'm really interested in learning more about Inflection AI and how they're working to make AI more personalized and accessible.
It's going to be fascinating.
Sounds good. See you then.
See ya. At the heart of it all is this idea of human-centric AI. Suleyman believes that technology should be a tool to empower people, not replace them. It's about augmenting human capabilities, not making us obsolete.
That's refreshing to hear, especially with all the anxiety around AI taking over jobs and becoming this uncontrollable force. But how do we actually ensure AI remains human-centric? It's easy to say, but the reality can be much more complex.
Suleyman emphasizes the importance of diversity in AI development. He believes we need a wider range of perspectives, not just engineers and coders, but also ethicists, social scientists, artists, you name it. This diversity can help ensure AI reflects a broader spectrum of human values and needs.
So it's not just about making sure that technology works, it's about making sure it works for everyone, right? But even with the best intentions, there have been controversies surrounding DeepMind, haven't there? Specifically, those concerns about data privacy with the NHS partnership. That's a sensitive issue, especially when we're talking about healthcare.
It is the DeepMind NHS collaboration, while aimed at improving patient care, sparked debate about data privacy and transparency. The key question was, were patients fully informed about how their data was being used?
It's a classic dilemma, isn't it? The potential benefits of using AI in healthcare are huge, but so are the risks if data isn't handled responsibly.
Yeah.
How do we strike that balance?
That's where ongoing dialogue and scrutiny are crucial. Even with someone as ethically minded as Suleyman, there's always room for improvement and course correction. These controversies are important because they force us to ask tough questions and refine our approach.
So it's not about blindly trusting the tech gurus. It's about engaging in these critical conversations and demanding accountability. That's empowering for all of us, right?
Absolutely. Suleyman himself acknowledges the potential downsides of AI, such as the risk of algorithmic bias and the concentration of power in the hands of a few large tech companies. He doesn't shy away from these difficult topics.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. We've got this AI pioneer who is both incredibly accomplished and deeply aware of the ethical challenges. What's next for Suleyman? He's since moved on from DeepMind, right?
Yes. In fact, he co-founded a new company called Inflection AI, which focuses on creating personal AI assistants. Imagine AI that can understand you on a deeper level, anticipate your needs, and help you navigate daily life more seamlessly.
It sounds like a move towards making AI more accessible and personalized for everyone. But beyond Inflection AI, Suleyman has also stepped into the role of a public intellectual, hasn't he?
Exactly. He wrote a book called The Coming Wave, which explores the future of technology and the choices we face. He's become a thought leader, encouraging proactive and thoughtful approaches to AI governance.
So he's not just building the tools, he's helping us grapple with the bigger picture. How AI is shaping our world and what we can do to ensure it's a positive force.
It's as if he's bridging the gap between the tech world and the rest of society, making sure we're all part of the conversation about AI's future.
Well said. I think our listeners are getting a real sense of why Mustafa Suleyman is such a crucial figure in the AI landscape. But let's zoom out for a moment. What does his work, his philosophy, tell us about the broader AI landscape?
His story highlights that AI is no longer just a technical field. It's deeply intertwined with social, political, and even philosophical questions. Suleyman's journey encourages us to grapple with these questions and think critically about the kind of future we want to create with AI. It's a call for all of us to be more than just passive consumers of technology.
So it's not just about the algorithms, it's about the values that inform those algorithms. It's about using technology to solve problems, not just create new ones.
Precisely. And Suleyman's background in philosophy shines through in his work. He's always asking why, not just how. It's about understanding the deeper purpose and potential impact of AI, not just its technical capabilities.
This has been incredibly insightful. We've covered a lot of ground, from Suleyman's unusual path to AI leadership, to DeepMind's groundbreaking achievements, his unwavering commitment to ethics, and his vision for a more human-centered future. It's clear he's not just building AI. He's helping us navigate the complexities of a world increasingly shaped by it.
And he's inspiring others to do the same. Whether you're a researcher, an entrepreneur, a policymaker, or just someone fascinated by AI, Suleyman's journey offers valuable lessons about the power of combining technical brilliance with a deep sense of ethical responsibility.
I couldn't agree more. Now, before we wrap up, I want to remind our listeners where they can find out more about Mustafa Suleyman and his work. All the information we've been discussing comes from aivips.org, a fantastic resource for anyone interested in learning more about the people, ideas, and innovations shaping the world of AI. We'll include a link in the show notes so you can explore further.
It's a treasure trove of information, especially if you're looking to dig deeper into the ethical considerations surrounding AI development and its potential impact on our future.
Exactly. Now, are you ready to shift gears a bit and delve into some of the specific projects Suleyman has been involved with? I'm particularly interested in learning more about Inflection AI and how they're working to personalize the AI experience.
Absolutely. Let's dive into that next.
Okay, so let's get into Inflection AI. What's their big idea?
It's all about personal AI assistants. You got it.
But we've already got so many virtual assistants out there. What makes Inflection AI different?
It's about trying to create a whole different kind of relationship with AI. Think of an AI that doesn't just respond to your commands, but it actually understands you,
Understands me.
your needs, your preferences, even your emotions, and then uses all that to help you navigate life.
Help me with, like, what exactly?
All sorts of things. Give you personalized advice, offer support when you need it, even be a companion.
So it's kind of like having a digital confidant, someone who truly gets you.
Yeah, in a way, that's the vision behind Inflection AI. Suleyman believes that AI has the potential to be deeply personal and empowering for each individual.
I can see that,
I
but I
can.
imagine some people might be a little creeped out by that, sharing all their personal stuff with an AI, their thoughts, their feelings, all of that.
I'm sure some people would feel that way.
It raises a lot of questions about privacy and trust.
And that's where Suleyman's focus on ethics is so important. Inflection AI is building trust by being transparent about how their AI works and by giving users control over their own data.
So it's about putting people first, as always with Suleyman.
People, not profits.
It seems like all the different phases of his career have led up to this.
It all ties together.
From those early days, working on humanitarian aid, then conflict resolution, then his time at DeepMind, and now with Inflection AI.
There's definitely a pattern there.
It's all about using technology to solve real-world problems, to improve people's lives.
And to do it in a way that's ethical and responsible.
Well, I think that just about wraps things up for us today. We've covered a lot of ground talking about Mustafa Suleyman's life and work, from his unique path to becoming a leader in AI, to the incredible achievements of DeepMind, and his unwavering dedication to ethics in AI. It's clear that he's not just interested in building cool technology. He's also deeply concerned with making sure that AI is used for good and that it benefits all of humanity. If you want to learn more about Mustafa Suleyman, you can find a ton of information on aivips.org. It's a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to dive deeper into the world of AI. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time. See you then.